Hi.
How you ladies doing today?
Doing very
It's
well.
a
Thank you for having me.
fantastic Friday.
So what
Very
time is
nice
it?
Saturday. It's 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, there you go. It's 5 p.m. for me, California, on Friday.
Oh, lovely, lovely, nice. Where are you, Jamie?
I'm in San Diego as well.
Oh, nice, lovely, nice.
Yeah. All right. So give me a second here. Just leaving the office, and then we'll get this party started. So have you started reading the book at all, or no? For you, Venetia?
I
Benita?
have. I read the first 2 chapters.
Awesome. All right. So we actually talked about the second chapter last week. We were looking into the third chapter this week, and but this is
Okay.
perfect now. So what'd you get from the first 2 chapters? We can start there.
Okay, great. So the first chapter was, it stood out for me in the sense that having desire is a whole different ball game than simply wishing for something, and that was a very well narrated story, and I could relate it to some of the most driven people who I know, and some of the occasions in my life where I've been pretty driven, and so that was what I got out of the first chapter. The second chapter was
Awesome.
far more.
So I know.
Yeah.
So I hear that you got it as like a concept, right? That you have to be very driven, and then you have to want something really badly, right, in order to actually get it.
Yes.
For you, like what'd you get from that?
So you mean from the first chapter? Could you say that again? Oh, wow.
I think he left the meeting. I think he'll be right back.
Okay,
there
okay,
it
cool,
is.
cool. Great. Um, are you back? And Alex, what was the last thing you said?
Yeah, sorry. The last thing I said was, so yeah, it's great that you got right that in order to be highly successful, you have to be like really driven, right? And have that burning desire to accomplish something. So
Mhm.
my question for you was, I know, so that's more of a concept to understand. So how is that now playing in your life to give you power about achieving results? Reading that chapter.
So, okay, so at this point in time, I'm having to sort of start over again from scratch. I used to have a career in corporate, and now I'm trying to hustle online, and it looks on the outside like it's not very glamorous. But I've always had this feeling that if I stick it out, it's going to be massively rewarding. And I think a lot of people around me in my life might think that is a bit of a stretch, in the sense that I'm sticking a lot out on the line and I'm taking huge risks, but I just sort of know, and I'm hoping to make that a reality.
Okay, got it. Yeah. And actually what you're talking about is actually what chapter 3 was talking about, which is faith. Faith.
Okay.
So you're perfect right where you are.
Okay.
Right.
Great.
Looking at draw, and I'll tell you this, like in my personal life, I mean, I was homeless for a year after the Marine Corps back in 2015, living out of my car. And I promise you, the only thing that kept me really going was the faith or the hope, to say that word,
Right.
that
Right.
that things ultimately like will work out. I had no
Fantastic.
idea how that would happen, but I was
Okay.
like, somehow life is gonna work out. And I really honestly held on to that thought for the entire year until eventually I took actions to like do something about it. And I did, and eventually here I am now. But I really got how powerful, like, you don't have to be religious at all either. It's just like a word that creates a world of like, like in the back of your head,
Yeah.
that there's something, a God, a force, a power, something that's always going to be there. It's always going to hold you. And as long as you're relentless, right, and having a burning desire, which comes later in this book, right, you really can achieve whatever you want. in life.
That's a great thing to hear at 5:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Sounds
I know, and hey, the fact that you're even here at 5:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning is also very telling, right, of the kind of person that you are, that you're willing to get up this early for a call with strangers to talk about a book.
Well, I have been trying to put myself in rooms where people have big dreams. I'm just like, let me see, I want to see what the temperature is like, and um, I just want to. I'm curious. I'm here.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here.
Cool.
All right,
Thank you
so
for having me.
yeah, you're welcome. And we also have Eric here. I see you and Jamie. So what'd you guys get from the chapter this week?
Eric, do you want to go?
I guess. So I just listened to the whole thing like straight through. So I don't remember where one's chapter begins and one ends, but in the beginning, it was pretty much based on the stories that revolve around believing they can do something and how the people of high success were able to achieve those things. Is that where chapter number 2 was?
Yeah, that was talking about desire. Yeah.
Yeah. And how it all revolves around like the belief that it can happen, and then that determination, that strong desire, and even when there's no logical things that say that you should be able to do this thing, but you just know you're going to do it, or you really want to do it, and then it happens.
Yeah. So what we were doing also on the last call, just so because you weren't there, is we were talking about, like what a burning. So I was just distinguishing what a burning desire is like, and I come from a different methodology called ontology. And what I heard it was, there's some future out there for all of you, right? There's some future that's calling for you. There's some future that's like very exciting for you, that is so exciting and so inspiring and so enrolling and so motivating that you will do whatever it takes to make sure that comes true and make sure it happens. Last week we were talking to Sean. Sean's in the fitness industry, and he knew 20 years ago where he wanted to be in sales, where he wanted to be in success. And it was so clear for him. It was so real for him. It was so inspiring to him that he really spent the last 20 years doing whatever it took to fulfill that future and made sure it really came true. And that's how burning desires really are, right? Is they're not some good idea. They're not a wish. They're not a goal. They're not a pipe dream. It's something that you say. It's made up, right? You say, Eric, or you say, Jamie, or Venetia, like you say, hey, like in the next 5 years, like this is how my life is gonna be. This is where I'm gonna go. This is how much money I'm gonna have. Here's how much success I'm gonna have attained by then, or here's where, like, whatever, right? And it has to be something that, like, no shit, is really like, when you think about it, you smile. When you write it down, like, it has you like get the goosebumps. You're like, wow, like this is it. And it has to be something that's strong, because like if you remember when you read chapter 1 of the book, right, you hear about this guy that had like nothing, and he's like, I'm going to be working with Thomas Edison one day. And he had no idea how, right? How the hell he was going to do that? He had no idea how. But he said, this is how my future is going to look like. And this is what's going to happen. And I don't care what anyone says, like, this is how it's going to be. And he just devoted everything. He sold everything and did whatever it took, right, to make sure that actually happened and came true. So for you, Eric, even, what's that for you, man? Like, what is there for you 1, 5, 10 years from now, whatever you want to say, that shit either have or you can create a burning desire for, and you'll do whatever it takes to make sure it happens?
Well, that's an excellent question, and that's something I haven't fully answered. Like, I know basically what I want, but I haven't set it in a concrete form to chase after it yet. And that's kind of my limbo that I've been sitting in recently.
I got it. And that's so great, man. Check this out. So we're gonna tangent a little bit from this conversation because I want to give you something that Eric just created. Okay, consider everyone that your future, whatever future you say you want to have, 1, 5, 10 years down the road, consider that whatever your future is actually what's giving you your experience of life, Eric, right now in this moment. And I'll give you an example to illustrate this very vividly, right? So imagine, Eric, right? Imagine here I am, right? It is Friday, right? I'm sitting on my desk and I have all this work I have to do. I have all these clients to call. I have to go over all these files, make sure everything's processed, and work until 8 o'clock at night. It's a very long day. How do you think my experience of life is right now? How do you think I'm feeling?
I would think you're tired and your eyes would be looking down.
Yeah, right. I'm probably like tired, maybe a little upset that I have to work so late, like why am I here, and just not happy, right? But imagine that in reality, I'm actually not. I'm actually pretty freaking happy. Why? Because I know that this weekend, right, my wife is going to San Francisco. She's going to be gone for a day and a half. I'm going to go play pool with my friends. I'm going to get a massage. I have like all these plans that I've already created that I'm going to do when my wife is gone. So even
That's
though I
awesome.
have all this work to do tonight, right, I don't give a shit. I'm happy, man. I got all this fun stuff I'm going to be doing, all these
Yeah,
people
right
I'm
on
going
the
to be spending time with, right? And
Yeah.
I'm happy, right? So now let's fast forward, right? Now imagine it's like Sunday night. I'm at the bar with my friends, which I will be, right? Having a good time, playing pool. I don't drink really, but we play pool and hang out. And there I am. How do you think I'm feeling about life right now?
Well, if you're thinking about what's about to come, I guess you'd be a lot more in the moment, focused on that and not your current situation.
Yeah, dude, I'm like freaking upset because I have to go back to work Monday morning, go back to the files I didn't finish, talk to the clients I didn't talk to on Friday, deal with my boss, like all this crap, right? So even though I'm in the bar with my friends having a good time, in that moment, I'm really not happy anymore because I'm experiencing life based on what I'm living into the next day.
Mm.
So I want to create this for y'all to give you a glimpse, right? This is the work that I do. This is what we kind of dive into, right? Is that our experience of life right now, we believe as human beings is because of what we're doing, like right now. And it's not, what I've discovered is when you create, and Eric, this is so great for you, man, because I would really request you do this weekend actually, is make a plan for yourself, like really sit down and make this a priority of, some life, man, for you the next, even 3 months from now, whatever. Just create something that's going to really excite you, inspire you, motivate you, like getting a massage and hang out with your friends will, that even with all the crap you're dealing with in your life right now, which you are, because we all are, you'll power through it because you know that in the future, you're going to be doing all these things, having all these results that you really want to have. And I promise you that will get you through all the shit you got to shovel as you get there. So can you take that on this weekend to get it done?
Yeah.
All right. And I promise you, man, on the other side of that, you're going to see yourself as being a badass and getting through all this nonsense with a smile on your face, like I was. And it's going to be great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not in a bad place right now. I'm not unhappy, but I just haven't latched on. The problem is, so the more I see and go through this oncology and go through these books and get all this inspiration, I see like plethora of opportunities and I'm just like overwhelmed with opportunities. And I'm like, I got to pick a path. And like,
yeah, totally.
And the problem is down on my root, I still haven't really discovered like where's my deepest desire? What do I really care about? And then if I can pick that, if I can realize that, then I can run towards something. And until then, I'm kind of like, I think this would be good. That'd be good. This would be good. And like, I got to get that core thing.
Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? It's frustrating, right?
It's super frustrating. And I know that I'm capable so much and I see the future laying out and like all these positive things can happen. And I thought about them and I'm ready for action, but
Mhm.
I just have to like move in the right direction.
So you want the good news or the bad news about that?
Both.
Okay, so I'm gonna get back to this in a second. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So when I was 15 years old, right, one of my best friends to this day, okay, he knew Eric. He knew. I don't know how, but at 15 years old, he told me, he's like, Alex, I'm gonna be an accountant when I get older.
Hmm.
We're 15. We're freshmen in high school. I'm like, what? Like what? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be an accountant. I was like, all right, dude, good luck with that. Whatever. And no shit, man. He eventually went to college in accounting. He eventually became a CPA, and he married a CPA. They both have a huge house now in New Jersey. They make a shit ton of money, and his life is good. He has two boys, two twins. Dominic and I forget the other one because I haven't seen him in a long time. But
Yeah.
his life is great, right? And for the longest time, man, I felt your frustration. I really did, man, because literally for years, I mean, seriously, I couldn't even count. I think it was like, yeah, dude, like almost 20 freaking years, man, since 15. Seriously, I never knew like what the hell I want to do in my life, like he did at 15 years old.
Right.
And like you, bro, I've been frustrated. Look at my life. I've gone from working as a computer lab assistant in college, joining the Marine Corps, personal training, debt specialist, insurance salesman, like all these freaking random jobs, right? MLM marketing, right? Whatever, doing all these things, trying to find the one thing, right? Like you, that I could spend my time on. The one thing I could put all my effort and attention into and just kill it. Cause like you, I know I'm capable, but I'm like distracted, right? I'm not centered, as you said, I'm not focused. So because of that, you have the experience of being frustrated, right? I would even say have maybe stressed out about it too, right? Because you don't know what the hell you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's tough being in limbo. That's like Tom Petty
Yeah.
says, the waiting is the hardest part. I'm not
Yeah,
waiting on myself really.
totally. So that's kind of the story, right? Now the good news is cause I'll tell you this from personal experience, right? Because by the way, I found this for myself the last 6 months. I finally figured out what the hell my life is about. Now, so that's the good news, right? Because once you know what it is, then you can just, right, like me, right? I'm going after it, right? I'm building servers and websites and offers, the whole nine. Everything's going fantastic now. But before 6 months, though, I was still where you are, right? Frustrated, whatever. Now, that's the good news, right? Is that once you get it, you're freaking, dude, you're going to be loving life, right? You're going to be in action. You're going to be making shit happen. Life is fantastic. Now, here's the bad news, though, okay? Because this is what I did for 20 years, waiting for this to happen, and consider that it never happens. For most people, it doesn't. And what I'm talking about is, you said, right, like in what we're kind of talking about is that you're like waiting, like you're hoping, you're waiting that eventually it'll just come into your lap, like whatever the hell you should be doing, what you want to be doing, right? Because you have no idea what it is definitively right now, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the bad news. And I said that on purpose to make it kind of funny. Okay. The bad news is, but more so, what is the opportunity for you? Because that's really what this is an opportunity, is that it's never going to fall in your lap. I'm sorry. It's never going to happen. Life doesn't work that way. Okay. Here's what I did. And here's what you have to do too, is you have to choose what it is you're going to have your life about. And then whatever it is, man, you just go after it because you said so. That's it. That's it. Excuse me 1 second. I have to get my dog. But ponder that for a second. I'll be back in about 30 seconds. All right, I'm back. Okay, so yeah, so what about that? How does that occur for you, hearing someone tell you that you have to choose it? It's not going to fall in your lap. what's there for you.
I understand that, and it's just how do I choose? And I spent
Yeah.
some time thinking about it, and I did start to come to some part of a revelation, but I still
Yeah.
I need that last piece to lock in, and then I can run
Yeah.
for it.
So
It's like,
you know what? I think I know what you're missing here. I think what could be very beneficial to you, because it sounds like, I'm guessing, but it sounds like there's more than one thing that you're passionate about. And there's more than one thing you want to do with your life. Is that right?
yeah,
Great. So how about this, man? Well, me and you get on a call, and what we can do, not right now, but like, later on in the week, whatever, I can
Yeah.
help you kind of work through like what's there for you, and we can really find out like what I call like the it thing. Like, what's your it thing that you're like, yep, that's it. I'm good. This is my life, and I'm set. And now you just get an action around it.
okay. I mean, I have to do it. So if you're willing to give me some time to help me
Totally.
possibly figure it out, then yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah. And remember, you're the one that's going to figure it out. I'm just going to help distinguish what's getting in your way.
Yeah,
Cool. You up for that?
absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, we'll schedule a call probably Monday, Tuesday next week. Actually, you know what? I'll see if I could do it tomorrow because I want you to do this over the weekend. So yeah, we'll do that. Cool. All right, man. So that's it, bro. And I'll tell you, man, on the other side of where you're at, I promise you, because I'm there like right now. Once you know what that thing is that you're here for, that your life is about, you'll be like awestruck by how much velocity you will have in making it happen.
No,
Like
I realize that. I totally
Rapid
see
results, right?
feel the opportunities, and I'm getting enriched by all the inputs that I'm getting, and it's just it's kind of overwhelming to see so much opportunity, and
Yeah.
I know the possibilities, and I understand the concepts that go around it, but again, my center is uncertain, so until I get that worked out, I'm
Yep.
not really
Yeah.
get
It's
lost.
kind of like you're paralyzed, right?
Almost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of forward movement, right? You're not. It sounds like you're not taking a lot of forward action, right? Because you're not sure what direction to go into.
Yeah, I'm resolving some other important stuff that was kind of in my way. So I am clearing a path. But again, I
Awesome.
still find my center. So then I can run.
I got you, man. Cool. So we'll take care of that. Okay.
All right.
Cool. Awesome. All right. And then Jamie, what's up?
Hello there. What's up?
What's up with you?
Well, I'm at Ramada right now, and I'm gonna be helping my husband with his nutrition, and
Cool.
so I'm just reading the book. I'm getting a lot of new vocabulary, new concepts from it, but I can
Yeah.
relate to just feeling kind of paralyzed and trying to distinguish my it thing, and
Mm,
yeah, I'm still kind of working through that myself.
got it. So, what'd you hear out of chapter 3 that could empower you in this situation or this part of your life?
Definitely like have more faith in, I do believe in God, so have more faith in God of, unlimitless power, right? Instead of like, yeah, my God sucks, like he's not going to help me, like meh, so I'm trying to like get out of that and have faith in what I can't see, but in the vision that I have.
Okay, cool. So, what like real life results now or actions can you take inside of that to really help you in your life and whatever you're dealing with?
I'm still trying to, work through how to give myself the emotional space. Being in a relationship, I felt it's a lot more challenging for me to focus on my goals and dreams, and just kind of wrestling with, being in a relationship, giving your all to someone else while giving my all to my it thing.
Yeah, totally. I feel you. I'm married too. Less than a year. I really get that. I really do. Yeah, and it's a lot, right? Because you're right. You know, you're married to someone, you've given them your word, right? Your vows that you're going to love them, support them, right? Whatever it takes. And here you are still, right? And you're
Yeah.
not chopped liver either. It's like you have a life you want to live, you want to do amazing things. And it sounds like you're finding a lot of your attention over there with your partner and not over here with you as much as you were before.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of difficulty this year, with a couple people passing in both of our family, one on each side. And then, you know, like I had text you just some like money and surgery needs. So it's really been a huge distraction from me pursuing my
Yeah.
it things.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So let's look right from what I was creating before with you all. So, Jamie, do you have a future that you're living into with your husband that inspires you, motivates you, and incites you?
I mean, we talk about like helping people in the housing market. My husband's studying the mortgage lending industry, getting into that, and we want to help like people we know really elevate in San Diego. And my more of my it thing is maybe helping, you know, develop a new property, or, you know, 4 homes for 2 million, 5 homes for 2 million, and really create communities where we know our neighbors and like have a actual community around us, a physical community, not digital anymore. But that's kind of like what really pulls my heart, to see something where, you know, families live next door to each other, or, you know, multi generations not having to make all these sacrifices to survive, but an elevated, you know, planning culture around just living and housing.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And I definitely hear that inspires you, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So great, right? So you already kind of have your thing per se. So now all there is to do, right, is just look at what actions will fulfill that future and do them, and which actions won't and you don't. And have that future be like your true north of how your life is and how it's going to go and how you conduct it, right? To actually have that come true. And you could use the distinctions of his book, like, you know, infinite was like infinite, definite plans, right? Definite knowledge, burning desire, and then have faith that this will come true because you said so. And that's what you want to be in the world, right? You want a place where, you know, people are physically connected. They're in community, you know, they could build relationships together and they could accomplish a lot. They could support each other and get off their freaking computers, right? Get off the technology and actually be with one another and create a world that works, is what I'm hearing you're saying.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. So just go after it, whatever it takes, right? And, right, there's going to be things that are going to stop you, right? Like being responsible for your husband and his life, right? Because you are his wife, and, you know, dealing with whatever there's left to deal with in terms of, you know, marriage stuff or life stuff or friendship, like whatever, right? And just know that all those things are, Jamie, they're just circumstances, right? They're not real in the sense that they're going to dictate how your life goes. The only person, my friends, that ever has the authority or the right to ever tell you ever how your life is going to go is you. That's it. Not your husband, not my wife. I mean, yeah, obviously they have a say, but at the end of the day, it's your life. And you really get to choose, really, like how it goes. And having that future, right, Jamie, I think is amazing for you, because I really hear, like, even when you talk about it, you know, you're like, you're excited about it, your tonality goes up. So that's it. You know, all that's there for you to do is just have integrity with your word, keep taking actions that are moving in that direction, you know, have that desire, keep the fire hot, have faith it's going to happen, and just take actions that are consistent with and fulfill upon that. And that's all you have to do, really. And you'll see that opportunities will open up for you. You'll see that people will be inspired by you and they'll want to help you. And pathways will be, drawn out for you that you didn't know were even available before. And all it's going to take from you is just be relentless. Have that white fire, the burning hot desire, whatever, of just doing whatever it takes, because that's what it's going to take from you to ensure that that future, like no shit, actually comes true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple to say, right? But harder in application for sure. And when those times come around, one thing you can lean on really is just what you said. Think of all those families that are going to be empowered and supported and loved and nurtured because of you. And
Yeah.
you could have that get you through all the shit that will be in your way from here until that happens. And that's life. Life is never linear, right? It's always like a windy road trying to get to your destination. So anything else about that?
No, that was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and then is our last guest here? But I can't pronounce her name correctly, and I apologize for that. Is it a Vanita?
It's Vinita.
Vanita.
Yeah.
All right, so
You
close.
got it. You got it. That's great.
All right. Yeah. So what else is there for you? We're talking about a few different things here. So did you hear anything that you could listen from and kind of empathize with, or anything you could,
Yeah.
I don't know, like what's there for you?
Well, thank you all for sharing your stories, and thank you so much, Alex, for helping everyone process where they're at, because this is really useful. So when Eric was describing what he was going through, a lot of it resonated with me. So basically, about 15 months back, I had a huge professional public fall. I was a whistleblower in a large organization, and I lost not just my job, I lost a career, I lost public reputation, and I was failing publicly in front of everyone on a very, in the sense, it was not just professional circles, it was also personal circles. Because I don't know the extent to which you folks have observed whistleblowers in your own I don't know, circles and communities. There's a lot of stigma around it. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You really do stand out for having sort of deviated socially. So that was a very, very powerful experience that took over my life for like a 15-month period, with lots of legal exchanges and me having to have engaged with the press. It was all very public, it was all very raw, and it was soul crushing, and I thought I was not going to get back up. I mean, when Eric was saying, I need to have processed things. There was a point in time when I simply had brain fog. And something else that you'd mentioned, Alex, was sometimes nobody's going to come to save you. And I think I'm a pretty independent person. It's not like I was waiting for anyone to rescue me, but I did expect, say, like a justice system or whatever it is to have worked. And the fact that in some cases it doesn't work was very, very scary for me. So that was the point I was in before. And then I simply had I think I had a change of luck or something like that. And a few days back, there were there were basically 3 prospecting calls that I had close to each other, and I was just enjoying being back in the game. It's been so long since I was simply creating something and I wasn't swimming in a lot of muck. And so I was enjoying those 3 prospecting calls. The energy exchange was incredible. And then just to top it off, I went and did a 4th prospecting call. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get back up. I'm going to prove that, it's not the end for a whistleblower. I can start over and I can probably be bigger than I was. I've always believed I'm going to be bigger than I was. But nobody else around me thought that. Everybody did seem to think, oh, Vinita's finished now. Okay, now what are you going to do? You're finished. What are you going to do? And that messaging was so debilitating for me. And I was fighting it for a long time. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not finished. Somebody else, maybe you, if you'd done the same thing, you'd think you were finished. Not you, I mean, I just mean the people who've told me that, this is finished. I don't think I'm finished. So that's the reason why I really enjoyed the discussions. I think, Alex, you're a fantastic moderator. You've really brought a lot of insight into the discussion, and thank you.
I'd like to say something if I may, Venetia.
Please, please.
Yes. So I think the reason you're not finished is because you had the courage. I know whistleblowers, you get a roll rap, but other people do respect that you stood up to the system, and the fact that you're willing to stand up to the system, and you knew that this is going to come against popular opinion, that you have that courage when most people some people may have been in a similar situation, but they weren't courageous enough to step up against and bump up against the system, and you were. So that is the reason why you're going to succeed more in the future, more than most people, because you have that sense of courage and that willingness that other people just don't have, or haven't found a way to access. So it's not luck. I don't see that at all. I see it as that is your determination, and you had a tough struggle to go through, but you're going to get the strength out of that, and you are going to succeed way more than you did before, because you proved it to the world in some aspect, but you really proved it to yourself, and then you can build on that, and it's just going to snowball. That's what I see.
Thank you so much. Just for conveying that sentiment. It was very touching. I'm glad I woke up at 5:30 in the morning. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. That was very nice, very lovely. Okay, yeah, so let me see here. So, the basis, so just so you know, so what I'm doing with this book, Natha, is I'm actually integrating, right, ontological stuff into it as well, because that's the methodology I'm trained in. And, fundamentally, what I really got from this book, right, overall is that, and this is kind of like a methodology I'm kind of creating for my own coaching, is that consider that our quality of life, to say it very succinctly, is, very much correlated to like things we have to look forward to or not. If you're looking forward to a firing squad, your quality of life and your experience of life probably sucks, right? It's probably very depressing, very upsetting, very saddening because you're dying soon. As opposed to if your future you're living into is like going on to get massages and like hanging out with your friends and going on vacation, you're probably pretty happy right now, right? So I was talking to a friend of mine at a party recently. She was saying that her husband had a triple bypass heart surgery, and he's like 60 years old, which is very young, by the way, for a triple, quadruple bypass heart surgery. And he's been tied up for like 2 years at home doing nothing. And, she was telling me about the guy, and I'm like, well, how is he? And he's doing better now, but I'm like, how was he the first year? And she's like, he was miserable. And I was like, yeah, I could imagine. And I'm like, well, what was he like? I said, I'm like, well, what did he have to look forward to every day? And she's like, nothing. Laying in bed, can't do anything on his own. Like that was his life. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? If you have nothing to look forward to, of course your life is going to occur like it sucks and it's depressing and there's nothing you can do about it. You're powerless, you're a victim, and that's it, the end, you're done. And so what I kind of distinguished in that conversation with her is like, to say it very simply, it's like, wow, if all I do during my life is keep inventing things, right? Create things, invent things that excite me, that light me up, that keep me inspired and excited, that I'm looking forward to, then my experience of life right now will be like awesome, right? And amazing. And just so you both know, that's what I've done the last 6 months, is I've designed my life in a way that I always have things happening in the future that like excite me. like building projects or like, getting like a massage on, which I'm actually getting done tomorrow. I'm very excited about, playing in pool every week on Tuesday nights with my league, which I love doing, seeing my friends once in a while, do monthly calls with these people or this group. Like I've set up my life in a way. So there's always not just one thing. I have like multiple things because I'm all about redundancies, right? Having backups among backups. So I have like multiples of multiple things every week, every day, every month that like really like get me excited and I look forward to them. And no matter how crappy my day is going, I just take a second and just think about those things. So I'm like, oh, but who cares? Like, I'm going on vacation tomorrow, or like, I'm getting a massage tomorrow, whatever. And immediately it snaps me out of that depression or that sadness, and I'm right back to being empowered. And it's a little like trick I'll share with you guys that I found very useful and very impactful and very effective that I found that works really well. And when I realized whenever you're noticing that for yourselves, you're unhappy, you're pissed off, you're upset, whatever, just take a second, if you can be aware of it, like how you're feeling right now, how you're experiencing life, and just look at in this moment, like what's happening, like what's predictable, like what's going to happen right now. And if you could be responsible for that, all you're feeling is just a temporary moment of emotion or feelings or thoughts, and that's not your life. Like life isn't over because you're upset for 5 minutes, right? That's like a little kid. That's like very immature, right? To think that way, but we do because we're human beings. But as adults, right, you could be aware of that, put it aside and be like, well, this is kind of silly. Yeah, this happened. I'm very upset about it, but it's not the end of the world, right? Because tomorrow I'm doing this. Next week I'm doing that. And that really could offer you a sense of like peace, a sense of power, and even and especially for you, Eric, a sense of purpose to knowing where you're going and what you're creating and pulling you out of whatever stuckness, paralyzation you're in right now to really thrust you into action. And that's all I got for today. And so what'd you both hear from that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that message, and I know that's what I need. It's just easier understood than it is to put it in place.
For now, yes.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, right. And that's it, man. And that's honestly, this is the last thing I'm gonna leave you with, right? There's an old expression I heard years ago. I'm not even sure where, but it's very simple and it's really powerful. And it says this, and this is really big during the pandemic for a lot of people, that this is the expression: this too will pass.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No matter what the hell is going on in your life, consider that this too will pass. It's temporary, right? It's very real when it's happening and it's temporary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. All right, well, hey, yeah, I'll text you after the call. Let's set up our call for tomorrow or Sunday. And I'm really committed, bro, that you really figure out like what it is. And once you get down to that one thing, and by the way, it doesn't have to be even like one thing. It could be like a way of being, like around, like for example, like around you, everyone is unleashed, or everyone is free, or everyone is powerful. That could be a future also you're living into, and everything you do will be to fulfill that with everyone around you at all times. And that's going to take something, right? Because you now have to be responsible for when you're being an asshole, right? And when you're not being someone, that's creating people and empowering them to be whatever you say they're going to be around you. So it's a fun game, really. It's a good time. Cool. All right, man. Well, I'm excited, bro, to see what you sort out and discover for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've been working on, so
Great.
help me
Awesome.
latch onto it in any way. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it'll be fun, man. And then for Benita, anything actually for you?
Yes, I really loved what you said about how you built in these different systems that can keep happening in the sense they're going to keep offsetting whatever volatility you might encounter in your life day to day. That was really smart. I liked it. I think I might have done something similar, but I didn't know I was doing it, which was
Yeah.
at one point my entire social circle crumbled because somebody has a mark on their back that's going to get the connotations are going to become very painful.
Yeah.
And so basically I think I wasn't able to relate with a lot of people I used to know, and I went and joined an incubator. I was basically going to pay
Mhm.
people to be different from the conversations I was having already, because they were almost killing me. And I was like, I just want to have a different conversation with somebody different. I want to be in a different room. And once I did that, I came out of a real depression. I came out of a real funk, because with that,
Yeah.
I was like, but now I need to tell these people, because it was like an incubator, about what work I did. Like, because we are going to be bouncing off of each other's energy. So what will I take into that room? And I started getting more responsible about that, and that is what is sort of pulling me out of the funk, is what you described, which is you build in those systems because life is going to get in your way. And I really really like that, and I like the discussion that you both had. So this has been pretty cool and useful.
Cool. And you see some now, do you see any real life application now in your life or actions to take, right? Because the big problem that human beings have is that we are, this should sound funny to you because it's very accurate. And I'm definitely one of these people for sure. Most human beings are what I call knowledge junkies, right? Like, we love learning things. We love knowing things. We feel smart, right? We feel empowered. We feel like this is it. I know everything I have to know. I'm good. I'll make it happen. But yet life doesn't show up the way it does it. We don't create the kind of results we know we can do, and we never know why. Right. And what I had to put aside and really be responsible for in my work is knowing that, knowing that, right? Is knowing that knowing anything does not at all make a difference at all, zero, in your experience of life. And that's actually like something I got from my methodology that I subscribe to, is consider that what you know has zero impact on your experience of life, right? And here are several examples illustrated, right? How do you lose weight, right? Eat less, move more, right? For the most part. Very simple. We have a multi-billion dollar weight loss industry in this country, just this country alone, on how to lose weight. And it's like, what the hell? Why? Like, why? It's so simple. Why can't people do it themselves? We all know how to do it, but mostly we don't. Why? Because it's more than just knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something there that gets in the way, right? Like, oh, this tastes so good. Or, oh, I'm stressed. I'm stress eating, right? Or, oh, I deserve this. Or, oh, like whatever, right? Some justification or reason, whatever, that has you then not do what you know to do. And that's the breakdown, honestly, that I've noticed in a lot of these, like, book clubs and like coaching
Yeah.
calls and whatever, is people are knowledge junkies. They look for insights, which is knowledge. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you both right now, they're useless to you. Useless. You
Yeah,
just
with that,
add it to your knowledge banks, and that's it. That's where it goes, and it never lives in your actual life.
yeah, it's the action. It's the difference.
Yeah. So the question is, right, how do you then take knowledge and convert it into action? Right. And that's why, if you've noticed, I've been asking that question a lot on this call. It's like, great insight or great knowledge. Now, what are you going to do about it? Like right now? Right. Because I'm testing you all. I really want to see, well, what you really get for yourself, really, that's going to impact your life. Right. And that only happens through action.
That's a great that's a really tough question. You're so right. I think it's become very trendy for everybody to have consumed a lot of self-help. And I
Mhm.
mean, we do I tend to escape into it quite a lot. So that's a very pertinent question. So what I have done and what I plan to do is, so I basically, I think at the point where I was not able to make money the traditional way, I started selling courses on Udemy.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that makes like that brings in like in the sense it's not a lot. And suddenly what I realized was now I can go up to corporates and tell them I can design courses for you. This is something that didn't hit me for a long time because I had a lot of other interests and I didn't know that I could sell this and this is something for which there was a demand. I just didn't make that connection. And so when I was randomly trying to sell a very obscure product to one of my associates, I said, do you want this? I'm making a course on legal tech for lawyers. My associate was basically like, Vinita, not everybody wants to go out and make their own company. So this is not going to be a popular thing. What you can do for me is make a course on how to become a virtual assistant, because that a lot of people want. I was like, what was that? And that got a lot of other things rolling. So now I'm like, oh, so not every company has the resources or the personal, at least in the place that I'm working in right now, to come up with one of these simple like courses. So now I have a system where I pitch them based on my very simple experience so far, and it gets far more responses than me trying to pitch like some specialized services that I can offer that nobody apparently wants.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's life. You know, I'm gonna end. For real. I'm gonna end. I would love to keep talking about this for hours because this is like just so like impactful, right? Is this so? Les Brown, right? He's a if you don't know who he is, he's a very famous motivational speaker in our country. And there was like a talk that he did. It was one of his like motivational videos, and he talks about how he says he's like, do you know where the most valuable and brilliant ideas are to ever come in, to ever like be thought right in the world. He like asked this question right out loud. And you think about it for a second, you're like, I don't know, like, technology, space, whatever, right? You think of like where all the brilliant ideas have gone. And he's like, the cemetery. And you're like, what? He's like, the cemetery. He's like, think of all the ideas that were never manifested, the amount of ideas that were never created, never published, never realized, never fulfilled, never taken action on by the most brilliant people in the history of mankind. And think of how those could have changed the world, like solving disease and pain and hunger and God knows what else. And he's like, and the reason why that is, and it happens to this day, is because once again, right, you have this idea, this knowledge, but that's all it is, and it dies with you. He talks about how, for most people out there, and I was one of these people too for decades, so I really do believe this, that I really believe that human beings, we all have the ability for like genius and brilliance, all of us. The only difference, though, from one person to the next is that some people are actually able to manifest it, to share it, to realize it, right, in reality, and do something with it, like take action side of it. And some people don't, right? And no one could read your mind, right, or read your thoughts. So until you share an idea, until you realize an idea, until you take action in an idea, it's never real. Thus, it never happened, ever.
Oh, very
And
well
so,
said.
yeah, and just so you both know, like the way I live my life, like the last 6 months, and like, yeah, it's that new for me, is for years, when I was 12 years old, I was already selling candy to kids in school. I was already an entrepreneur at a very young age, and I knew that like this is what I wanted to do. Like I love being my own boss. I love selling my own things. I like being of service to people and helping them. Very young, like 2 decades ago. But for 20, 22 years, whatever, I didn't do squat about it. I went to high school, which I almost failed out of. I went to college, which I dropped out of. I joined the military, the Marine Corps for 7 years. Then I went personal training, like just lost, with all this knowledge for 20 whatever years, wandering around, Eric, trying to figure out what the hell my life was about, what I'm gonna do, never knowing. So my experience of life, I didn't have a future at all. So a life like sucked, I was like stressed out, I was depressed. When I left the military, I didn't care. Living in my car for a year being homeless. You think that really bothered me at all? Really didn't. Probably could have done longer if I wanted to. Because there was just no future there for me at that point in my life, until I actually had a moment of inspiration or like a moment of faith. We'll say that to reference the book here, where I was like, maybe this isn't it. Maybe there's a way out of this life. It was just like a moment of inspiration. And what happened? I took action on it. I went down to the college. I got back into school. Because you're part of the military, they give you money for going to school. So I got like a $2,000 tax-free paycheck every month, which I used for lodging and living expenses. Got back into the world, got out of my head, which I was in for a year, right? And started taking actions and making stuff happen. And, over time, right, things developed and I started creating results. And, it was about 6 months ago that I got to a point in my life where I was like, oh shit, like this is it. Like I now know what I'm really passionate about and what I really enjoy doing, which is trading and helping people in the financial markets make money. Like that's what I do. And I love it. And I'm really freaking good at it. And people I mentor and coach are making like a lot of money. So I know I'm very effective. And I'm like, this is it. Like this is what I love doing. I love what I do. It's a very valuable service. I'm literally changing people's lives financially, which helps them with, everything. And this is great. And now that I have that true north, Eric, like life for me is so easy. It's like when I have people trying to sell me stuff like marketers and YouTube ads, I ask myself a very simple question. I'm like, is this going to help me fulfill on that future where I'm empowering traders to be successful and powerful and wealthy and, everything else I care about? And if it doesn't, then I ignore it and I don't do it. And if it does, then I'll look more into it and maybe I will do it, But life really is that simple nowadays because I know where I'm going. I know what I care about. I know what's important. And, it was a nice idea for 23 years. And I was literally like a prisoner to my thoughts. And then the last 6 months or so, I've now discovered how to manifest them into reality. And now life is moving. Results are happening. I'm making an impact on people. And that's just life now, and I've created actually an entire network. It's like actually like 6 or 7 different networks I have right now, different communities that I use as redundancies to keep me empowered also. So if I'm having a breakdown in trading, I could go talk to my sales training people and they can empower me. Or if that's not working, I'll go talk to another community, which is part of the methodology that I work with. So I built like redundancies in my life for both expectations of things that are going to be happening to me. I also have networks that help keep me empowered as well. I also have 3 coaches right now. I'm part of a leadership program right now. Like I've designed my life in a way to ensure that I am successful, whatever it takes. And that's what it looks like, for someone who's really committed to extraordinary results. And I was not that person 7 years ago in my car trying to find the safest place to sleep where I didn't get mugged or taken by a cop in Orange County. Because that was my life for a year. Yeah. And that's it, my
a
friends.
phenomenal journey. That's really fantastic, Alex. I mean, just the way how you built it. I'm really happy for you, and it's beautiful that you could make all of that happen. It's very inspiring.
Thank you. All right, my friends. So let's call it here. We'll do chapter 4 next Friday. So please read the chapter. We'll chat about it. It should be the same Zoom line. If it changes, I'll send you guys the both. I'll always send the new link if it changes. So just stay tuned. But
Okay.
but also I request that next week I also want to hear about the results, the in reality results you both produced, and I'll ask Jamie this as well from the conversation. Because if you literally don't take any actions at all from this conversation, consider that it had 0 impact on your life, right? Because results are measured in reality, not in your head.
Right.
And I'll leave y'all
Very
there.
well said.
All right, my friends. You guys have a great day. Good morning for you. Get some rest. You have a great night, Eric. I'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Thank you. See you both. Bye.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.